Welcome to CREvolve, the show that fills you in on the latest in CRE tech. All right, so this is our first real episode. It says episode 2, but you really don't want to watch the first one. You can go ahead and skip that one. Tonight we've got Ryan Dennis of Genia Live, his fantastic website. So you can go ahead and check it out. It's ryandennislive.com. But real brief, we're just going to go around and reintroduce ourselves for our first-time viewers. So Bucky, it's all you.
Awesome. My name is Bucky Beeman. It cut out right there, so I don't know who you called, but hopefully you called me. I am a commercial real estate agent based out of Rochester, Minnesota, home of the Mayo Clinic, and I really love marketing. I really love the internet, and I'm applying all kinds of great things like Snapchat and fun things to my business, and I've been in tune with commercial real estate tech thanks to the internet, and I'm excited to learn more about Ryan because I see him everywhere.
Excellent. Hi, I'm Julie Augustin. I am recently joined on with the Foundry commercial team with a specialization in retail. My background was previously Senior Director of Real Estate for Office Depot, and my passion for CRE tech really started a few years ago and just really jumped into it and realized how much it's going to help me, my business, and want to share it with fellow professionals. So, Ryan?
Hey, I'm Ryan Dennis Live, or just Ryan Dennis if you know me in real life. But online, I'm Ryan Dennis Live, and my website is ryandennislive.com. And I started that to just put up my musings, insights, and random articles and things that I like to read and write about commercial real estate technology. I joined the industry around 2 years ago, fell in love with the technology side of it. I really think it's cutting edge. And real estate is so interesting because it has not been touched in a real way the same way other industries have been. So I'm just doing my best to advocate for us all to live in a more equal, value-added society, and that starts with the business world and the businesses that affect all of our individual lives at work. So my job is to make all of our lives better at work. So right now I'm at work, I'm wearing a tie, and this show definitely is going to add value to my life. So thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be a part of it.
That's great.
Awesome, and I'm Rivers Evans. I'm a broker with ERC Commercial in Charleston, South Carolina, and I've been involved in a couple of tech startups, so that's really the source of my appreciation for technology in general and commercial real estate technology. So in a few minutes, we're going to conduct a Q&A with our guest, Ryan Dennis, but let's go around and share some of this week's observations. And Bucky, if you can hear me now, you can go ahead.
I did cut out again. Go ahead, Bucky.
So a lot of my observations tend to be related to social, and just for example, this morning I pay attention to a lot of the residential real estate agents that are on social because there's not a lot of commercial real estate agents on social, so this is a call out to all of you. We need to step up our game a bit. But on Facebook, with their live shows, people are doing these Google Hangouts now in Facebook, and I was on my mobile phone and I just so happened to see a notification that a live show popped up, and then the video was playing while the timeline was behind the video. And so they're really stepping up the way they distribute live video on Facebook so that you don't miss a beat related to people that you may be interested in that may be putting out content you want to pay attention to. So Facebook and Facebook Live is definitely changing.
That's interesting. Cool.
And how about you, Julie?
Yeah, one of my observations this week, so I am a proud member of the University of Florida Real Estate Advisory Board, and what that does, we mentor students that are going through the program and just advocate for the program and for students looking to get into real estate. And one of the things, it was really interesting, so I was holding one of the many roundtables going on, and it was regarding commercial real estate, just new ways of marketing, social media, just everything we talk about on this call. And it's a mix of board members and students. So during the roundtable, there was an older gentleman that said to me, "Oh, sure, I was saying how many, we're really on this call today because of relationships I made via Twitter. And, that's Ryan, that's how you and I first connected, Bucky as well. And so I was sharing this at the roundtable, and this older gentleman said to me, yeah, but how many of those are actually older? And I was like, well, actually, two of my favorite people that I've connected with and made relationships with are Barbie Reuter and Duke Long. And, you know, and I said, they're probably, you know, a little older than me. They're, you know, probably your same age kind of thing. And he was just shocked. And I was like, no, like, this isn't something that just the students or just millennials. And actually, it was interesting, too, that the students at the table didn't have a Twitter account. And I'm like, okay. They probably have a Snapchat account, though.
Sure.
But, you know, I was just saying, you know, I'm kind of dabbling in Snapchat, but for the most part, my relationships have been through Twitter. And, you know, as far as from new kind of online friendships, and that I use Twitter as my news source. And it was kind of funny because the students were kind of shocked by that. And I had a couple reach out to me this week actually saying, oh, I've started a Twitter account. So that was kind of one of my takeaways.
Real quick, I'm going to share my screen if I can pull that up. Let's see. So there's this awesome CRM out there right now for commercial real estate. It is Rethink. Can you see this right now?
Yep.
Okay, so this is latest version, and it's built on Salesforce. Salesforce just had a UI update, but essentially, let's go ahead and make this larger. Essentially, what they've done is they've put all your navigation on the side, and all the modals are a lot smoother. The whole user experience on top of the UI is vastly improved. Let's see if I can get another picture. This is a good one right here. And then I'm going to show you what Salesforce originally looked like, and it's probably pretty similar to what they were. This is what it originally looked like. And it's looked like that. It says 2002. It's really looked like that up until about, you know, earlier this year, a few months ago. So really, really excited about this new change for Rethink, and actually, you know, looking forward to demoing it some more.
That's sharp.
What do you got, Ryan? You got anything good you've seen out there in the intrawebs?
Oh yeah, I mean, gosh, everything interests me. I have maybe 30,000 tabs open right now on my desktop. It gets pretty crowded, but one thing I've definitely been excited about, well, just responding to Julie mentioning Twitter. Twitter is definitely, nobody talks about it like it is, but it's the dominant microphone for the internet right now. You talk about politicians, celebrities, and business leaders all across the world using Twitter as almost as a short form for press releases. And you see that Twitter's also trying to figure out how they can make their platform even better and more informative and more media savvy for people who want to share communications. They're even thinking about putting in longer form tweets. Maybe you can make a 2-page tweet instead of just 140 characters. One thing that's interesting to me is Medium, Medium.com. People look at it as more of a blogging site. I think Medium is actually becoming more like Twitter, while Twitter is trying to become more long form. Their SEO is absolutely incredible. Their ability to actually let you make very quick, you know, essays and blogs and insights, and without making it look too official or too, I guess, contrived. You can really, it's really a word of mouth, you know, platform that grew on its own, and it's much less corporate than Twitter right now. And I'm really excited about where that platform is going, and I see a lot more commercial real estate people using it. I can name a few people. One is Paul McNeil, a few other people who have really been using that platform as a way to get words out about their brands. I've seen CRE tech companies like Brevitas use Twitter as another way of sharing their blogs through Medium. So it's really exciting to see how those two platforms are coalescing. The other cool thing I've seen in CRE Tech is the first 3D printed office completely, first complete 3D building that's just commercial space, and it's in Dubai, and that's really exciting. It happened last month. You think about the prices of building a 3D printed office. I think I saw that one space was completely built out and furnished for only $5,000. That's something that's going to disrupt our industry as well. So a lot of exciting things going on both in the communications and the construction and building side.
Awesome.
Awesome. So those were a few really good observations, but we can head into our Q&A section real quick. And yeah, so Julie, do you have a question to kick us off?
Yeah. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Julie.
It's so good to see you. I just had to talk about your blog that you did last month now in the end of August. I just really love it. The real and commercial real estate. And you just did such a great job with it. And, you know, by far one of the standout things that you said on it was just how commercial real estate tech, you know, the leaders in the commercial real estate tech industry are the ones, you know, that are saying, hey, we need more tech, but they're also the ones saying that we need more inclusion. And I just really thought that was like a standout regarding unity. And I just loved how you just, you know, how real is that? And I thought it was an excellent piece, and I'll be resharing it after this as well. Cause I just, you know, it was one of those things where Barbie shared it. And so I did a quick read through it on my phone. And then in preparing for tonight, I read it again. I'm like, this is really good stuff. And so it was excellent piece. And I just, with that, wanted to understand, and I think Rivers had the same question of how, you know, can you just share with people, with us and with anyone else watching, of like anyone saying, well, how do I get into CRE tech? Like, how can you share kind of how you got into it?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. That's the nicest compliment anybody's ever given me about my writing or whatsoever. But the team at Genea is absolutely incredible. Our marketing department has a lot of fun just looking at the industry and trying to reflect what we see, just like mirrors. So yeah, that article, honestly, I was a little bit pensive about should I really put this kind of stuff out there? It's about diversity, it's about commercial real estate. Those two it's a touchy subject, talking about diversity. But the reason why I can come out with an article like that is because of people like Barbie Reuter, because of people like Duke Long. They've already smashed a lot of stereotypes for what you want to see. I mean, Duke Long is an inspiration to me. I mean, he's almost like somebody I look up to, not because I want to curse online and get away with it, but I think he's actually one of the smartest people I've ever spoken to in the business world, and he's very good at putting his honest opinion out there. So that's where it comes from, is being real. So what does that mean in the sense of commercial real estate, where you're dealing with multi-billion-dollar deals? You're talking about buildings that will live for over 50 years, long-lasting impact, and being impacted by technologies that aren't as new as Snapchat. Where's the reality there, and where's the humanity in there? So the whole thing to me is about value. You want to create technologies that bring value to people's lives. It's the same message as you want to be a person that brings value to other people's lives. To me, creating value is the only thing that matters. And so the actual idea for the entire blog, and even including some of the top CRE Tech quotes of the past year in there, was from Duke Long's quote that creating a community is the only thing that has value, not just creating a transaction. So in commercial real estate, you look online, you see people like Bucky all over the place engaging with people, chatting, learning more about the industry. You see people like Jonas Haberkorn or James Dearsley or somebody like Property Dan H on Twitter, going out there and spreading the latest news, but they're also talking to each other. They're asking each other tough questions. They're also being polite and talking to each other like human beings. So my personal belief is I want my life and my work to go together. I don't want to have a work-life balance. I think that's BS. I think that I have a life and I work in that life, but it's just my life. And I don't want to balance anything against my life. So if I can bring value to other people's lives by bringing them a technology that saves them time, by telling them about a tool that could actually improve their business, and I can add that kind of value, that's really cool. But what's better than just having an entire network of people who will support you and give you those kind of ideas and bring that kind of value? That's what people like you do, Julie. I mean, the kind of news that you share and the impact you've had in our industry is also about being a good person and about how you communicate online. So to me, dialogue is the opposite of war. So if I'm creating dialogue online, then I'm creating peace online. That's an offset to all the madness we see in the world today. So it's cool to see people keeping it real in different ways, and Barbie Reuter too, snapping back at a marketing person. We don't have a marketing girl, we don't have a marketing boy either. I mean, that's legendary stuff, and it shows you that you can have attitude and be a human being and also keep up with the upper echelon reputation of these high-profile firms like CBRE and JLL. You can still do business with those people if you hold yourself up to the highest standard online. So people like you and Duke Long and Barbie have set and paved the road for us, and I just want to keep advocating for that kind of communication.
It's awesome.
Yeah, sorry, Becky, go ahead, please.
I'm curious, Ryan, when did you finally start seeing interaction? Tell a little bit about the story, because, for example, on Snapchat, I don't see commercial real estate except for Julie. Ryan, you're on. There's a couple people, but they're not working it hard. So when it came to like Twitter, for example, when did you actually start seeing this community start to be built? Share with us that.
Sure. When I joined commercial real estate officially, probably around early 2015, there really wasn't much on the CRE tech hashtag. It was barren, a couple of random tweets. I mean, if you look up something like a new hashtag now, it would look something like that. Not very much data, maybe some random typos from 2012. And what I started to realize that there was a lot of stuff under CRE. And now it's full of spam, just hashtag CRE. And there's a little bit of news, and obviously Twitter's algorithm has changed, so only relevant stuff is really up there anyway. Yet when I started to see on Twitter, my background is also in executive search recruiting. A lot of that is in using Boolean searches and in using different ways you can find results nobody else finds. So I go on Twitter and I use some Boolean strings, I use different hashtag combinations, and I found hashtag CRE and hashtag tech. And there was a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people talking about commercial real estate and technology, but it wasn't under one unified hashtag. So I made it a point to just continue using that hashtag all the time, and just trying to compartmentalize this information for myself. And I quickly realized that there were other people who were, catching on and also posting stuff consistently. But the real thing that I noticed was on the responses to these articles. There's people like Duke Long. There's people like Julie, leaving a tweet that says, "Thank you so much for sharing this. This is really great for this reason." And that's when I realized that there was a community here. There's people dialoguing and chatting. And some people would call these people thought leaders or influencers, but on Twitter, anybody can join in the conversation. You don't need to have 2,000 followers to get invited to a hashtag conversation. So I think over time, over the past year and a half, people have started to realize that there's a lot of relevant news in one space they can find. And Twitter's a really good place for that. But like I said, that's only going to last so long. I mean, you see other people who are posting a ton of stuff on LinkedIn. Facebook is always a threat to Twitter with regards to content, and I'm excited to see how Medium changes those things. But guys, can't ignore YouTube. I mean, Bucky's a video guy. We're on video right now, so video is the future. So the better you can use these platforms to just create conversations, the better. But the real start of this was people sharing content and engaging with each other. It's not just about here's an article. It's here's an article and here's how it's relevant to your business.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So we could maybe officially say you were one of the people to start the CRE Tech hashtag and building down. Like, can we put that in the history books?
No, Duke Long would not agree.
No, Duke Long would not agree, and also Coy Davidson would not agree.
That's true. That's true, Coy.
Coy Davidson was the first person to talk to me on Twitter about commercial real estate, and he was a legend, and I knew that on day one, and he's been there for years.
Yes.
So future guests of the CREvolve show.
Yes, hopefully. Good luck with that. He's a superstar.
The call out begins now.
All right, so I got a quick question for you. Going from online to offline, what do you think the future holds for these tech conferences, mainstream tech conferences like TechCrunch and South by Southwest, but specifically for commercial real estate?
Commercial real estate conferences, when you attend them, specifically the ones that are just about the built environment or brokerage or tenant leasing, they're so niche that they tend to be rather small. And by small, I mean 200, 300, which isn't small. The things that people like Mariel Ibrahimi and Pierce Ninekin have done for commercial real estate are very exciting, and they've set an example of how to do a real estate conference that is effective. I've had meetings, deals, demos, and all kinds of things come out of those conferences, and they're not something to be ignored. However, the larger scale conferences like the TechCrunch, like the South by Southwest events, have been completely untapped because I think commercial real estate has not had a lot to show for it. If you go to an insurance technology conference, it sounds boring, but it's way more exciting and robust than any of our commercial real estate platforms right now, because they have such big budgets and their entire industry is ahead of our industry. And to me, that is the most striking thing when you go to one of these gigantic conferences, or even something like Comic-Con. It's so well developed. And if you go to a CRE Tech conference, you'll notice that these companies are not ready, at least their marketing teams are not ready to put together those kinds of size, profile, presentations. I mean, these things are very impressive. And it's a competitive place. You have to spend money to do conferences. So a startup that is just trying to build platforms for brokers to get deals done faster is not really thinking of putting half of their yearly budget into a conference. But it may be something that they should consider doing. So what I see for the future is video and the ability to create these presentations all the time, not just at a presentation, not just at an event, but using videos to create a really amazing way to display what your brand does. You see companies just now starting to do that. A few companies like Brevitas and others are doing how-to guides on video. And that's a really cool thing to see at a conference, but it's right here online. I can watch it anytime. I don't need to spend a bunch of money and travel to see it. So I think that's a little bit of the archaic and old school nature of commercial real estate that's dying. You can only see these new technology platforms. You can only meet these people at these conferences that are very exclusive. We're chipping away at a little bit at that, and I think that's going to help with making the entire community a little bit more easy to reach. And I think it's a great time for this industry.
That was a pretty thorough answer and really good points. Specifically, if you add to the conferences in general, like TechCrunch and South by Southwest, the major mainstream ones, the incubators are going to be the ones, like the mainstream incubators are going to be the ones that are leading up to those conferences. And we're not really seeing any commercial real estate technology in those. I've seen some odd ones like roofing industry applications come out of Y Combinator and then go into TechCrunch from CRE.
Yeah, one thing I will tell you is it's very niche. Commercial real estate technology is still niche. I think people want to say we're in the second inning or the third inning or the second generation. I mean, to me, it's still small. And if you look at it that way, it's okay. It's fine if it's still small. But certain ones of these companies are really starting to blow up. When it comes to the incubators, to me, they're having a lot of impact in moving forward this industry. When I went to the International Blockchain Real Estate Association conference in March, I met a few people. One was a gentleman I spoke on a panel with named, I forget his name, but the name of the company is Flip. And it's a blockchain real estate company that lets you switch leases with people. If you want to get out of your lease 6 months early in your office space in New York City, it's costing way too much money in New York. I know that rent is high. You want to switch and move to Philly, that's fine. You can do it with Flip, and the whole transaction is recorded on the ledger of the blockchain. That's really cool. Blockchain is an emerging frontier technology. It's the cutting of the cutting edge, and it's in real estate. And it's at this conference because people like Metaprop NYC will allow that company to have an opportunity to grow. So companies like Metaprop NYC, companies like RICS, the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, even a firm like PropTech overseas in London, those people are going to have massive impact on the way that these small companies grow. They need a little help sometimes, and I think our whole industry needs that. So to me, they're out there, but it's still hard to find. So you got to stay close to people like Julie Augustin.
Please. I am very glad that you mentioned Metaprop, though, because Ryan and I keep missing each other at conferences. But I'm going to the CRE Tech Intersect in New York in October. I know you just attended the one that was in San Fran. But Metaprop is hosting a whole week that week. So October 6th and October 5th, Metaprop is hosting an all-day event called a PropTech Summit, and it's with MIPIM as well. So anyone listening to this can check that out. It's a week long of events that October 5th and 6th that week.
Yeah, that's very exciting. It's really cool. And things are moving fast. Things are changing fast. Something like this video chat, for example, 3 out of 4 of us have headphones on,
Yep.
but Apple is changing that. I mean, over time, it's going to be really. It has to look like Bucky. Look at Bucky. He's so much cooler and cleaner. He's got no cords. That's the future as well. So, attending these conferences, it's like finding the Airbud iPhone for commercial real estate. You have to go there right now to see those things. But again, I think people are starting to realize they can go online, do a press release on Medium, and use all of these inexpensive marketing tools in order to get their message out there, and all those things advocate for real estate to move forward a little bit. So I know for me, as a professional that works in commercial real estate technology, primarily in the built environment and for property management, we don't have a huge marketing budget, just like all of our competitors. We just don't. And we don't need it, because my job now is to specialize in affordable tools. So one tool for graphics would be Canva, like the word canvas without an S. Canva.com is fantastic for creating graphics. If you want to make videos, commercial real estate technology companies, if you're listening, download Filmora. It costs $30. You can download the platform, go through the tutorials, get some stock images, stock videos, download them. Teach yourself how to do it. I have a degree in journalism, so that stuff is fun to me. But for anybody who is, they're entering the later stages of the career, they don't want to learn something new, then why are you working in commercial real estate? It's not a time for you to be resting on your laurels. It's a time for you to mess around, have fun, make mistakes, and blow things up. So anybody of any age can get into one of these programs that's very affordable and impact their entire brand's future.
Yeah. Is that what you used, or did you use those 2 programs in creating our South by Southwest panel?
Absolutely.
Video? Yeah, it was really sharp.
Thank you so much. I mean, I have a lot of tools and a lot of, programs, the Adobe stuff, but I like using the cheaper stuff because I want to show and set an example for people that you can create high quality content without spending high quality cash. And if you can do that, then you are letting the entire industry in on how can we communicate more effectively without making it elitist. Only the top firms with the top, bankrolls can put out these messages. And like Bucky started off this conversation with, Snapchat is free. And if your brand is not on it, it hurts your brand to not be on it. But that's again, it's still very niche. People being on Snapchat talking commercial real estate, that is a dream, that may come in 2017. But right now it's about who's going to do it the right way. And Bucky, every day you do that, you're setting a new precedent. You're setting a new practice for how is the best way to commercial real estate snap.
So let's talk a little, Ryan, about your branding then. So Ryan Dennis Live, like there's some thought that, why is that? What are you doing on your own personal branding?
So when I first got into commercial real estate, my job was primarily in sales. And one thing I realized about sales is nobody wants to talk to you if you have the word sales next to your name. Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a salesman. Definitely don't want to buy anything from you, okay? But if I say, hey, I'm Ryan, what's your name? We're already beginning a conversation. And now we can talk about your issues and your problems without having to go into what my exact role is. And I think that's something that's also going to change by 2020. Your title is not going to matter. It's a bunch of BS anyway, because the people who are making the most impact at your company, they're going to get promoted and have a title change all the time anyway. So you got to realize that you have to market yourself as a person, not market yourself as a product or a service. People don't like products or services. They like characters, brands, but those things are people. It's the people that make up those things. It's the people that care about the fact that Toms will send a pair of shoes to a child in a small village in Ethiopia. It's not that they care about Tom, So you realize that the purpose is to create human engagement and conversation and engagement. So when I go online and I'm branding, Ryan Dennis Live, I want you to know these are my opinions. This is what I think is cool. This is not what any of my other companies or clients think of or think about or would say. It has nothing to do with them, and I want to leave their fantastic brands away from that kind of conversation. But for me, as an individual, what you'll understand is I'm somebody who is genuinely interested in this technology. It's not something I'm doing for cash. It's not something I'm doing for my company. It's something that I'm genuinely interested in. And the people who are passionate about it, like Anthony Slumbers and the other folks on Twitter who are just chatting about it, their brands are so effective because they're being genuine. And I think sometimes you got to realize people like insecurity. They like somebody who has a typo but has a really effective opinion. They don't, because it's real, you know, and something that's contrived all the time. We're getting out of that stage. I mean, when was the last time you used a corny stock photo that was like, you know, you just don't. People like reality now. So with my branding, it's Ryan Dennis Live. You know, my picture is not super doctored and airbrushed. It's looking a little scruffy because I was working a late night that day. You know, that is the kind of branding I want to put out there. It's okay to be you. It's okay to be a little bit raw, but being real, like Julie was saying earlier, to me is really where everything in marketing and technology is going. What is the real value you're adding? So being human is okay, a little bit more than it used to be. So the live video is on its way, and I'm a person. I'm alive, and everything here is what you see is what you get. And I'm not somebody who does a voiceover 2 or 3 times. I do it one take, and that's it. If I mess it up, you hear it, and I'm sorry. I'm really I apologize. But again, I want to set that standard that it's okay to be you. It's okay to mess up, and that's the way the industry is going.
Awesome. And we like it. Yes.
You spoke about Duke Long. You spoke about a few other thought leaders. Who, in your mind, are the people to follow in this space? Who are really doing it, just being real, being themselves?
Well, it's funny because it depends on your tastes. I like, for example, like, you know, Anthony Slumbers is somebody who I discovered his long form blog. His articles are very long and they're very well written. I mean, it's like reading Ernest Hemingway. But he's talking about the future. He's talking about office buildings and the different ways that society will be set up perhaps in 2025 in London if blockchain technology takes over, if, you know, if smart contracts come out. He discusses all kinds of things from the perspective of, and it's futurism. He's somebody I would definitely follow. When you go on Twitter, it's really him. I mean, he's talking about politics, his own personal opinion, and it's unfiltered. So to me, he's a great example of, look at this guy. That's somebody you want to be. You can have these very eloquent, beautiful pieces that you produce on your blog that give people your long-form thoughts, but it's okay to show people that you're engaged in the conversation every day by being yourself on Twitter. So he does an amazing job of balancing both those out. Obviously, somebody like Duke Long. To me, Duke Long is like the Apple or Google of commercial real estate blogging and writing. You have to follow what he's doing because he's a step ahead of you. He's in New York right now talking to somebody about a technology nobody knows about, probably at any moment. You know, so his articles are just something you just have to read. I would also say follow at Property Dan H. He's the director of, I believe, director of strategy for the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. He has amazing articles for the RICS, and he also gives a little curated opinion for all of his articles. For my articles, when I share an article, I just put the title and I put the hashtag. I just try to make it very succinct. This is what it is. He's somebody who will say, good read, a little bit too techie for me. You know, that's a really cool, I might click that. It's like, that's cool, you know. I feel a little bit nerdy right now. I'll read this article. I have an extra 15 minutes. Or he might say, you know, a bit boring, but really good piece on on BIM, you know, or business intelligence, you know. And that's something that, to me, you can do things your own way. Another person you gotta follow is definitely Jonas Haberkorn out of Germany. To me, he always has high-resolution images. He always has very eloquently written short pieces on his Passel or his PropTech blog, and he's everywhere. I mean, he's only been in our space for about a year, and he's been killing it. So that starts there.
I would agree with that too. And it's so cool to just think about that. You know, here we are, we're talking, and I mean, he just joined, like you said, last year, and he's in Germany, and he then is tweeting to us, and then Bucky got into the conversation, and Ryan, and you know, just it's so cool. And then that was when we were all using the hashtag that Real Massive started CR ecosystem, and just talking about the community. And so then he's like, yeah, and then Germany too. And so it just shows it really is a small group that really focused on this, and so much so that, I mean, and Dan H is in the UK, right?
Yes, he is.
Well, so yeah, it's very cool.
And to be honest, it's just as fun to follow these people as it is to follow some of these brands. You have to follow Hightower's blog. You have to follow VTS's. I mean, a lot of companies out there are doing blogging so well for our space and really setting the precedent. Sharing one of their articles alone is a good tweet. You know, you got to be in the conversation by following the brands as well. So I have to give a tip of the hat to the marketing directors for these firms. I don't know them all by name, but I would definitely say Comstack is doing an amazing job with their marketing, and Mike Westgate at Real Massive. Julie, you know, this guy is, he's a monster. I mean, I respect him so much.
Yes, he's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I know, Ryan, we've already kind of ran over how long we were planning to go just because it's been so great to talk with you tonight. Rivers, you want to close us up?
Sure. Hey, Ryan, thank you for joining us. We're really going to keep an eye on Jania and Ryan Dennis Live, of course, and always welcome to come back. We definitely want to keep talking with you.
Yeah, please. We'd love for you to join future ones as well.
Thank you guys so much. This has been a blast. What a way to start a Monday week off. I love it. You guys are awesome. And a great idea putting the show together. And I'll see you guys all online. Do not be shy. I'm just a regular guy who wants to talk about nerdy tech stuff, and I love buildings. So let's chat.
Love it.
Awesome.
Bye. Great seeing everyone.
Peace, Ryan.
Night.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.